going to hear now about a new production here in London of two relatively obscure 20th century operas. The pieces are called Fête Galante and The Dark Lady of the Sonnets. They both involve secretive meetings between high-born figures who want to keep their identities disguised. The production is by the Pegasus Opera Company. It champions artists from a diverse global heritage. Femi Elufowoju Jr. is the director of this new production, and in this essay for Weekend, he explains why he was excited to be involved in this operatic revival.
My decision to accept was easy for a couple of reasons. The first half of the bill, The Dark Lady of the Sonnets, was inspired by a 1910 comedy of the same name, penned by George Bernard Shaw, one of Ireland's foremost playwrights. I have been a long admirer of the works of Bernard Shaw, but never have had the opportunity to engage with his repertoire. The other big draw was the production company herself. I have been a great fan of Pegasus Opera ever since the company's inception under Lloyd Newton, her founding artistic director, contributing to the grand design of British opera by redressing the underrepresentation of global majority performers working in the art form. And then there are the majestic sonorous scores. Philip Hageman's The Dark Lady of the Sonnets and Ethel Smythe's Fête Galante are obscure operas and rarely performed across the planet. Therefore, the challenge becomes one of maintaining faith and conviction in the strength of the work, conveying to the creative team and the singers the impact and overall ethos of the director's vision, and putting across our joint belief that the libretto and music are compelling enough to keep audiences glued comfortably to their seats. The Dark Lady of the Sonnets is a wonderful story about two huge historical icons, Queen Elizabeth I and William Shakespeare, and what could have transpired between them if they had met in life on a quiet summer night on the embankment of the River Thames. Fête Galante is also about the mysteries of identity and how often we are just never sure who it is we are really dealing with. And what a pleasure to highlight for audiences the music of Ethel Smythe, Fête Galante's creator. At the midpoint of her career, this 20th century composer was much maligned, especially by the mainstream, because mainly due to her gender. Inevitably, she fell into the shadows a little bit. So it would be terrific if the music and her legacy is resurrected as a bigger presence because of this production. Maybe there is much truth about us loving and learning more about cultural traditions from the past and playing out those same human topics today. As a modern-day director, I am committed to holding up a mirror to the past with a view to illuminating the present and future. And this is why both endings offer an alternative perspective on the author's original intentions. Let the mad rout begin.
Femi Elufowoju Jr. with those thoughts on a new production of the opera's Fête Galante and The Dark Lady of the Sonnets. That's at the Royal College of Music here in London this week. You're tuned to Weekend here on the BBC World Service.